We got astrologists versus astronomers. Is astrology a science? This one's gonna be for the crystal mommies, okay? Get at me. A cute girl in my class started asking me about zodiac signs and astrology, and I said I was interested, but I know nothing about them. What do I do, Hasan? I mean, just make shit up, honestly. Just make shit up and be like, I don't know. Run as fast as you can. Wait, why, dude? No, dude. A lot of girls are into astrology. Just learn about astrology a little bit. It will be beneficial for you, I promise.
When I hear of astrologers, I think of people who kind of need guidance. Astrology is not a science. Science is something that requires proof, something that you can reproduce.
I think astrology is just a belief system, and I don't think it makes sense. It's not really.
By the way, like, dudes believe in dumbass shit too. Like, we got our own versions of astrology, okay? You know, plenty of people believe in dumb shit. You know, it's fun. It's fun for them. Let people do fucking whatever they want to do. Yeah, crypto is like astrology for dudes.
A science. I honestly believe that astrology just makes people happy.
Hi, my name is Trenton. I am a spiritual analyst. I definitely believe astrology is a science. We have discovered so much about the metaphysics of things and energies that are hidden.
I think my study benefits people because the greatest gift that you can give someone is self-knowledge. It gives us our own little map of ourselves.
I believe that zodiac signs are totally relevant, but they're just a basis of a much deeper practice. They're the tip of the iceberg.
She did the reading, dude. She's like, there's more to it than that, you fucking pathetic fools. You just know about the zodiac signs? Guess what, dude? Why are you defending astrology so much if you think it's bullshit? I think it's just like a fucking coping mechanism. It's like the least harmful fucking coping mechanism you can engage in. It's like fun little stories. Also, you know, a lot of hot girls are into astrology, okay? I'm just gonna say it. I like to have fun sometimes. I like to say, you know, crystals are sick.
Step forward if you agree. Astrology is a sham.
You can believe whatever you want to believe in as long as, you know, it makes you happy, doesn't hurt others. But personally, I've just never really understood how, especially since we all study stars, how something that's so far away and that could potentially be gone could affect you when you were born. It just doesn't make sense to me scientifically.
One of the things that they don't account for, astrologers, is as time passes by, there's this thing called precession where the Earth's axis actually makes like a rotation. And these constellations were set like 2,000 years ago.
That's high.
And they still assume that these are the ones that are where the sun is when you were born.
I've heard this. Yeah, I've heard this before. It's like all that shit needs to be retconned now, right? Because it's not the same anymore. God damn, dude. Shut up. Shut up. You're ruining it. This is how you get no pussy, okay? If you say stuff like this, I'm going to be honest with you, it's just not happening. So everything that these people are saying right here, the astronomers, okay, just like know that that is the truth. They are correct. But like, if you want to be a no pussy haver, then, you know, you can do that. Be like, actually, the constellations changed. So technically, like, everything you know about modern day astrology needs to be reversed. Blah, 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 blah. Like, no, like, don't do that. Just don't do that, okay? Don't do that.
And also, you can't split them apart equally because each constellation has different sizes. You don't have the sun in one for 30 days. You just don't do that. And let's be honest, you can't divide people into these neat categories. There's almost 8 billion people on this planet. You're gonna tell me that there's only 13 categories of what we are?
Exactly, it doesn't make sense.
Right, I think sham is kind of it's a negative word, but from a scientific standpoint,
would you agree that astrology has a degree of predeterminism that can be used in negative ways, like discriminatory type shit? What? No. You want to know why? Because I'm happy with someone who's like, oh, I'm never fucking a Leo. If that's like how they operate, then that's fine. Like, that's chill. But like outside of that, like, it's not, you know, codified. There is no historical precedence for astrology girls and boys being like, you know, we need to start fucking oppressing the Scorpios. That's insane. It's just like a ridiculous thing.
Standpoint, we don't see that there's evidence that we can't make predictions on people's lives based on the positions of the stars.
Can they disagree?
I practice Western tropical astrology. And so the tropical system of astrology goes off of the equinoxes and the solstice. It has
I don't
nothing.
pretend to be vegan to get girls too. I don't pretend to like be an astrologist, dude. I just listen, okay? I just nod. It's not that hard. Being a vegan actually requires sacrifice.
To do with the constellations, what you know of astrology in the Western world. Whether you resonate with Vedic astrology or Western astrology depends on whether you're more interested on using astrology for predictions or whether you're more interested on using astrology to understand yourself and validate and affirm the things that you feel in yourself.
You say astrology, meaning that the stars do matter, right? So what part do stars play in Western?
Bro, she is, I can just sense it, dude, okay? She's such a fucking Taurus rising. I'm just going to tell you right now, that's real Scorpio behavior, Taurus rising. That's a heat sign. And I'm just making stuff up, but I sound convincing, right? That's how I get you. You're all of a sudden, you're like, what? A heat sign? No, a fucking water sign, earth chakra. Anyway, I mean, it's all fucking made up. Who cares? What's the difference? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't read the made up book and I just made my own thing up. Okay. My bad, dude. Aha, you're wrong. Yeah, it's all wrong. It's just all made up. So shut up. I'm just having fun like they are. She, on the other hand, is not having fun. She's here to fucking kick ass, dude. Okay? She's here to fucking rip people's throats out.
Astrology.
It's not so much being born around the time that the constellation is in a certain place in the sky. You have this chart wheel and it's divided equally in 12 parts. So the rising would be dependent on that wheel, what sign, and not constellation, but what sign, depending on the tropical divisions, is on the eastern.
This is what Hasan, wait, he said, Chatter said, this is what Hasan texts girls after they leave. Habibi, I'm home alone. I say, Allah is with you. This is true.
Horizon. Then the rising is the first house, or it's the cusp of the first house, and there's 12 houses.
What does that mean? Because I hear that, and again, I'm not familiar with it. It just kind of sounds like a lot of...
Yeah, that's right, Ian. You're not. I mean, she's really into it, though. She's like a weeb, you know what I mean?
Gibberish.
Yeah, absolutely.
This man caught all the astrology girls lacking. I stalked this astrology hoe Twitter for about a week and told her I was a Virgo, and she let me smash because she thought we was compatible. Little does she know I'm a fucking Scorpio. LMFAO, the universe just aligned your cheeks with this dick. Want to know how I know for a fact all this horoscope shit is a bunch of bullshit? All y'all commenting, this is exactly what a Scorpio would do. About dumb as shit, because I'm a Capricorn. Let women enjoy things challenge? No, I don't have a problem with that at all. I literally just said that. That's how I started off this conversation. I was like, I don't give a fuck. You know, do your thing. Classic Capricorn? Okay, dude. Okay, dude.
When we categorize different planets in astrology, it's just to give characteristics.
Motherfuckers would be like, man, this astrology shit is so fucking stupid. I am totally an ENTP though. You know what I mean? There are so many different like categorizations
9 months
that are exactly just the same shit. Dude, I got the ENFJ stare, dude. That's me. That's so me.
On the specific energies.
My beliefs are supported by science.
So like I don't give a fuck what kind of dumb shit you believe in. If you're using like astrology to be like, my day's gonna be good this week, and like, okay, it's sick. All right, cool. Like, I'm not gonna yuck your yum. Random chatter post. Hey mom, what time was I born? Nope. Stop talking to her. Okay, mom is wrong. You can have a little fun as a treat, okay? I'm right. Your mom is wrong. You're no longer grounded. Don't worry.
You guys are probably like, astrology is not a science. But it is, because it's its own separate...
He's like, oh, astrology is not a science. But it is. But it fucking is. I will fucking kill you.
Field. Astrology, not a science. But it is, because
But it is.
Its own separate field.
Are my beliefs backed by science? No, they're not. In fact, it's the opposite. Most scientists would say that I'm crazy. Do I believe that astrology is a type of science, a soft science? Yes, because I study psychology, I study therapy. There are people who say that therapy and psychology are not sciences. I also think that psychology and therapy are soft sciences. They're not rooted in the scientific method. They are rooted more in the person, in who that person is, and the potential of that human being and their energies.
But there's a difference there, because in psychology, we could...
I think she's like taking a lot of liberties with that. She's like, hey, if psychology is a science, so is astrology. Respect. I respect that. She's doing the by your logic leap. The redefinition of words is fucking dangerous. The same as science schism early in the 1800s, where people didn't like that electricity was complicated, so they tried to make science simpler for even the layman to understand, but that just isn't how it is, and you can't even attempt to understand electricity and quantum physics without dedicated studies. Is an extension of anti-intellectual sentiment. Shut up, nerd. Astrology is a science. I said it.
See, we could scan the brain and see the chemical imbalances. We could see what's missing. We could see the neurons firing. We could see exactly why things are happening, and we could prove that. So,
But you can't always prove the treatment.
But we can also
The
look at a
treatment can't always be
chart.
proven.
We can also look at a chart and look at how the energies are interacting with a person. And
Dude, I love that. Dude, they sold me. They sold me. Hey, sorry, we got charts too, bitch. Turns out if you have a chart, that means it's a science. This is a science. Yeah, you get a chart, it's science. That's how it works.
correlated to what is on the chart.
I think energies and like neurons.
And
and things
I
like
know
that
I
are
keep using
different.
energies,
Yeah.
and that's also what I'm trying to say. Somebody had to be like, why is that energy affecting me in this way? Somebody had to sit and study these things. A team had to do research on these things.
I don't have science to prove why I believe.
Bro, then, but like this means everything that has been studied, regardless of how fucking silly it might be, is technically a science. God, he is not doing any favors. He's just like so confidently incorrect. Did you post this? Every beautiful woman is allowed to believe 3 to 5 ridiculous things. I do agree with that. I 100% agree with that. I not only agree with that, but I also like that. I think that is like, that's what makes people more interesting.
What I believe. It's just, I've been studying this for 7 years and I've been practicing professionally for 4 years. And astrology has not led me wrong. Like I don't miss.
Except for like the entirety of what you just mentioned, which is ironically astrology letting you astray by, making you focus all your energy and effort on a totally made up thing.
Is there a way you can tell if you're wrong or right?
Well, yeah,
in
because
astrology?
I speak to my clients. I never tell my clients, like, this definitely happened for you, and if you don't agree, then you're wrong. I'll say, oh, this could be an indication of this. Is this true? And they'll say yes, or if they say no, I'll say, well, maybe it can be interpreted in this different way. That's also where the interpretive thing comes in, is that it doesn't play out the exact same every time, which is why it can't be pinned down by
And
science.
that's why you can't call it a science.
Yeah.
It's not reproducible. Science is something that is rigorously tested, and it's stuff that's reproducible. You have to be able to reproduce results. What astrology is interpretive. So you might misinterpret things because it's not really reproducible. Like, you're not going to always get somebody right. The reason why I didn't step forward for this prompt was because I think it's irrelevant. Like, I think beliefs are different than facts. And, I might really believe in God, for example. I might, right? And that's not backed by science.
Science is science, right? So it doesn't matter if I believe astronomy. It doesn't matter what I believe. It just is or isn't.
Celestial objects influence people's mood.
I mean, if I'm driving home, maybe I had a bad day and I see the moon coming up. It's so beautiful. Like, how can that not affect your mood,
My
right?
boy's trying to, hey, that's right. You know what he's doing. I see what you're doing, bro. That's right. Open the door a little bit, leave it open. I fucking love the moon, bro. I swear to God. Yo, that moon, dude, it makes me feel some type of way when I see that moon, dude. Fuck. He's just like, little door open, okay? Oh, yeah, it's not a science, but the moon, little crystal action makes me feel good, That's right.
It's just so gorgeous. I do a lot of astronomy outreach. I show people the planets or the moon through telescopes. Or total solar eclipse that we've seen, we were all like in tears. It was just so beautiful. So yes, definitely things that happen up there can affect.
You know how the moons affect bodies of water, right? The
You
closer
are literally a whore, Hasan. I'm joking, man.
the moon is, the higher the waves are.
But
the
also, I'm
farther
not
away
joking. Like, I'm joking, but I'm also not joking.
it is, the lower the waves are, right? That's why we have tides, kind of, sort of, right? But we're made up of 70% water. The moon in astrology talks about our intuition, our feelings, our
I love this take. I've heard this so
Astrology,
many
like,
fucking times, dude. I've heard this so many times. The moon, if it impacts the water, and we're 70% water, so the moon impacts us drastically. Like the tides. Yeah, like when the high tide is, I'm just full of water, okay? And when it's low tide, no water. I'm so dehydrated during low tide, dude. It's crazy. You know who else had this idea? Avatar, motherfucker. Blood bending. What this dude is literally describing is blood bending, okay? Let's keep going.
our emotion. There are so many other planets and celestial bodies that are definitely doing that. So I'm so happy that you said yes, because it is definitely true.
See?
I'd love to.
That is literally the reaction you're gonna get. He did that on purpose. He's like, I love the moon. Look at how much they love that shit. They're like, oh yes,
To know what you think about the correlation between the 28-day cycle of the moon and the female hormonal cycle.
There must be something there. I'm not an evolutionary biologist, so I don't really know.
Yeah, I'm a Cancer rising, so I feel the moon, and I know from personal experience that, yeah, planets affect the moon.
I'll have to say I really liked your interpretation of that because, you know, the moment that you stepped up, I was like, okay, I know what's coming. I know what it is because I do agree on that. I mean, look, Mars is really far away. What is Mars gonna do, like, you know, to my mood? It just doesn't. Even the gravitational force that we experience between planets that are further away, it's really nothing.
Can I ask what makes you say that with such certainty?
Because I do physics, and so I know how gravity, like the force of gravity works.
Sure, but we have plenty of anecdotal, I guess you could say, evidence.
What the fuck? Bro, she literally went, oh, you know, you do science? Well, guess what? I got anecdotes. I've never heard someone say that before. That's pretty awesome. Like, she straight up said, yeah, well, guess what? I got anecdotes. I know a guy. That's sick. That is Sigma behavior, dude. Literally. Oh, yeah? Oh, you got empirical evidence, dude? Guess what? I got anecdotal evidence. What's up? I know a guy who knows a guy.
Well, the thing is, if you believe something, right? Mm-hmm. You already believe it. And then the thing that I really have to mention this, like the thing that you mentioned about the correlation between like women's periods and the moon is moving away from us. So eventually it's not going to orbit in the same in the same way. And so what
70% of my body is water, and that's why you're not supposed to drink as much water anymore. New York Times told me so, because the moon is moving away. Real shit.
Then
I think there's a big thing right now that we're using between correlation and causation. I think that's another big divide that we're seeing right now. Like when people...
Why are you trying to say correlation means causation to people who are just saying like, oh, you got data? Well, I got anecdotes. Like, it's over. That conversation is done, dude. When someone knows what anecdotal evidence is and says like, I don't give a fuck, like I know a guy, it's done. Like, you can't further that conversation. You are talking to a person who will never listen to you unless you turn around and you're like, I actually fuck with the moon heavy. Like, you know what I mean? Heavy flow shit, straight up. And then they will listen to you because you're agreeing with her. And that's it. And that's what happens with anecdotes. It's a wrap at that point.
People are like in a mood or like they're really happy and they go outside and they're like, oh, there's Mars or the moon is full or whatever. That doesn't make sense to me, where people can kind of not blame their behavior but associate it with what's happening. Like, there's a correlation, but we can't see the causation.
She's so disgusted. She's like, I don't give a fuck, dude. I just said I care about anecdotes that agree with me.
If we saw Betelgeuse go supernova, right? Some astrologers might say, oh my gosh, that's you know, affecting us. That happened 600 years ago.
Right.
So why is it affecting me now? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Everything that you see, like if it's something that's 4 light years away, you're seeing it as it was 4 years ago.
Right.
Not as it is today.
I only can go off of planets that are actually like in orbit, like the moon, the sun, our basic planets, including Pluto. Those are the only things that I really focus on.
So let's just go back to Mars and say Venus, right? Because Mars has all these like really rough and angry qualities or whatever.
You're learning. You guys are learning.
Yes. And Venus has all these beautiful, calm and peaceful qualities. But what if I were to tell you that if you were to go into Venus and sit there, you wouldn't even make it because the pressure would just destroy you. So how is that peaceful? And you know, like what is that, like where does this come from?
There are no good and bad planets.
Why do these science ladies have such big titties?
The irony. What's wrong with you, dude? That's fucked up. Dude, that's just straight sexism, okay? Stop.
THX for making my BF a leftist Hasan.
That's so fucked up. Stop. That is not allowed. Stop, dude. You're gonna give me a fucking ban.
There's a highest expression and there's a lowest expression. Mars is not evil. It can represent aggression. It can represent anger. It can also represent action and motivation. Venus is yet love, relationships, beauty. It can also be manipulation. Like there's no, oh, this is a bad planet. This is a good planet. There's levels here.
Why
there's duality. There's highest expression. There's low. I just wanted to, cause like.
Okay, I'm stopping donuts.
Like they're my people. So like we just got, you know. Let's.
I believe in zodiac signs and their predictions.
I definitely do believe in zodiac signs and their predictions and what they could bring. And it all depends on how you're tracking the energy, how you're also communicating whatever it is that you can get from the energy to a client. That's basically what my job is as an interpretive astrologer, is to break down what I see on the chart and to communicate it in a way that you would understand.
I just was hesitant about coming up with predictions because it's the word predictions. I'm not of the belief that astrology is necessarily a science, because I don't consider myself a scientist. And astrology is such an interpretive practice that using astrology as a predictive tool sometimes does more harm than good. It can create a lot of anxiety, and sometimes it is inaccurate. You're going to get human error in some sort of interpretation.
Wait, why is she backtracking? What a coward. I thought she was going to double down. She's like, yeah, actually, fucking, this shit's bullshit. I made it up. It's lame. I just make up a bunch of stuff. What happened in that argument that you're just completely reversing your position? Yeah, it's lame. I hate it now, actually.
I always tell them, well, guess, what do you think I am? And then it always ends up being wrong, or I'll finally tell them afterwards, and I'll be like, I'm this. And they're like, that's so Virgo of you. That doesn't make sense to me. So that's why I don't personally believe in those star signs. I know that you guys discussed that, but that's why I don't disagree with what.
Yeah, she should have fucking done that to him. These are my personality characteristics. And then someone goes, oh, you're a Virgo. And they go, well, guess what? I'm a fucking Leo, bitch. What's up? And then they say, oh, well, that's Leo behavior too. And then you go, well, just kidding. I'm actually Cancer, dumbass. Wrong again, Bob. You know what I mean? And then it's owned. You're so owned. You're so brutally devastated.
What you guys said, but that's why I disagree with the prompt that was read out.
With sun star astrology or sun sign astrology, that's where it can get carried away. It's actually the rising that's most important, because that starts your chart.
What the sun represents is our own sense of self. And when you first meet someone at a party, how much are you going to be able to know off the bat from your first impression of them what their sense of self is?
Exactly.
What I think is that because we live in a world where we don't know people at all, if you have a way to be able to somehow describe who this person is when you just first meet them, it makes you feel safe. And that's why I feel like a lot of people take to astrology.
People, they think astrology puts them in a box. Oh, you're a Capricorn. This is the only way you can behave. This is the only way you can act. It's no. Astrology is very much about the possibility, not necessarily this is what you are, this is what you do, this is how you act, I don't like you. No, it's just this is what could possibly happen. This is the expression you could possibly take.
The thing is, astrology antis defend astrology as though it's scientifically based instead of faith-based like religion. Yeah, I feel like if anyone were to say astrology is actually faith-based, it's kind of like a religion. You can't say anything to that. It's true. It literally is. So when you turn around and you're like, no, there's a scientific basis for this shit, it's well, no, there isn't. I also don't care. I don't. I'm not personally invested to destroy you in the marketplace of logic and reasoning. You know what I mean? I don't care. There's plenty of fucking Christians out there. You know what I mean? And most people in this community understand when you go, oh, lol, imagine believing in God. I only say, oh, my logic every time instead of, oh, my God. When people say that, you're like, shut up, nerd. Let people fucking enjoy God if they want to believe in it.
Even if you are, say, a Virgo sun, your Virgo sun could be affected by a certain relationship with, say, Mars. So it's not you're just this and you can only be this. It's no, you've got this. You've got a sprinkle of something of this. People don't like me putting in boxes, which makes sense, but that's totally not what I don't think that's what we're doing.
It does, though, kind of sound like you're still compartmentalizing
Well,
things.
don't do it, Ian. You're not going to, Ian, on God, it's not going to work for you. Don't do it, Ian. You were doing the right thing. You're talking about the moon, lunar cycles and shit. Now he's like, it kind of seems like you're compartmentalizing.
To the point of there's 7 billion, 8 billion people in the world. How can you categorize them in these boxes? But the deeper that you go into astrology, the more nuanced it gets and the more personalized it gets.
The other side doesn't fully understand the study of celestial objects.
Oh my God. Oh my God. The audacity, bro. Okay, this guy sucks.
I'm so of two minds about this. You guys are doing something that's very scientific and practical in what you're studying. But just because something isn't practical or scientific, you can still study religion, you can still study the Bible, the Torah. I don't even think it should necessarily be equated to your study.
One is the loneliest number. Yeah, I would never sit here and say that you know, like you don't know what you're talking about. But also, like, I don't think you can fully understand anything. I think you can go to school. I think you can do the work. I think you can have a very good grasp on something, but you can never fully, like, we're talking about the stars and the universe and the planets here. You can't fully understand nothing in regards to that. You read the stars, you read the cosmos, you understand all of the sciencey things. For me as an astrologer, I study the stars, yes, but I also study people. My job is to work with someone one-to-one. I'm showing you what I see, but I'm also showing you what I see from you as a person.
Bro, kind of the point of science is to be able to understand the unknowable, okay? What you guys are doing is just like, oh, well, we can't understand it, so I'm just going to make shit up. It's literally the opposite of scientific thought. So, like, both sides understand that there are, of course, certain things that have not been discovered yet. You know, we just don't fully comprehend everything. But one side is like, we need to figure this out. The other side's like, yeah, we can't figure it out, so I just made it up. But there's nothing wrong with it. It's just like, as long as you know, treat it like it's a religion. I did a crystal mommy like 5 years ago. It was wild. She was insane in more than one way. The sex was good, though. I'm saying, dude.
Would you say astrology is more along the lines of like human psychology?
Psychology, yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Depending on the system that you are studying.
Yeah, definitely. It kind of means like that. What astrology is like for fulfillment in terms of what benefits humankind. I mean, physics, astronomy literally brings us, you know, cell phones. That's practical. But we also, as human beings, like to have things like art, for example, music. I need music. If I didn't have music, then I might, you know. So it's kind of like there's a fulfillment thing. And I get that.
My belief is that balance is extremely important. And the way I see it, like logic and science and all of these things are one end of a spectrum. Like, to get a little spiritual, it's like yang energy. And we're representing, in my opinion, a bit more of the yin energy, the human element. And I think that it's also important to do what you can on a person-to-person basis, and that will help humanity.
All right, great. Thank you so much, and that's a wrap.
Yay. We didn't kill each other.
It's literally like a kid being like, I'm helping. If astrology was real, everyone with the same sign would have the same job. Sir, no, that's just one part of astrology. There's so much more. What about your sun sign and your moon sign and your rising? Pathetic, dude. You didn't learn anything, dude. I bet you will never get laid.